Hello everyone, this is the Sports Spiral, and today I'm going to review Week 6, which was a really good week. I'll talk about all the games in that one, and then Week 7 I will preview that one. So yeah, I'm just going to get right into the Week 6 review. So on Friday, Cincinnati had no trouble against Temple, winning 52-3, going 5-0. They are now ranked third in the country, I believe. So yeah, it has been looking good for Cincinnati. Ritter was 22 of 30 for 259 and 3 touchdowns. So Cincinnati has been looking good. Still, they will face some adversity if they want to reach the playoff. This will be very interesting. Are they going to be good at UCF when they did not get into the playoff that one year? And then on that same night, a bit later, Arizona State was able to win their game 28-10 over Stanford. So Stanford has been a team that was upsetting teams in the Pac-12 a lot, but they could not do it versus Arizona State. McKee for Stanford was not very good. He was 27 of 45 for 356, a touchdown and 3 interceptions. Daniels got it done for Arizona State, 14 of 23 for 175. And so, yeah, the Pac-12 not doing great, but Arizona State does win that one comfortably. And then moving on to the next day, the big game, Texas A&M versus Alabama. I'm sure you all have heard about the outcome to this one. So coming into this, like some years we've Texas A&M, it's been better, and we think they could have had a shot versus Alabama. This was not one of them. Zach Calzada was not playing good. They had lost a few games in a row, so Texas A&M was just not looking good. But they got it done versus Alabama. They went out to an early start. Alabama tried to come back, but they couldn't. And Texas A&M upsets Alabama. I believe this is one of Saban's former assistant coaches. This is the first win over Saban. So Jimbo Fisher gets it done. Here are the stats. Young, 28 of 48 for 369, 3 touchdowns and an interception. So it wasn't exactly Alabama's offense that was the problem. It was their defense, allowing 41 points to a Texas A&M offense that had really struggled. Zach Calzada, the replacement quarterback for Haynes Keen, which hadn't been doing well, but Calzada played pretty well. He was 21 of 31 for 285, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Isaiah Spiller, 17 carries for 46 and a touchdown. So yeah, Texas A&M pulls out the upset. Now, this really doesn't matter. It just shows that Alabama can get beaten. Although I'm looking into my crystal ball and I'm seeing Alabama being crowned the national champions once again. I think this will be one of those learning lessons thing, and Alabama will not lose for the rest of the season. We'll see if it's true though. So yeah, Texas A&M, they got out to a great start, 24-10 at the half. Then Alabama tried to mount a comeback, but they could not do it. So yeah, Texas A&M got it done there in that huge upset. And then next up we had the number 2 team, which is now the number 1. Georgia, it's now the number 1 team in the country, so that is one interesting thing. Georgia got it done versus Auburn, 34-10. They didn't have much of an issue in that one. So yeah, pretty easy win for Georgia in that one. Their defense has been looking good. Their offense has been getting it done. Bennett, 14 of 21, 231, 2 touchdowns. Nix, 21 of 38 for 217 and the interception. So yeah, Georgia has been looking really good. We'll see if they can actually beat Alabama, though, whenever those two teams face each other. And then the next game, I'm going to review is a top 5 matchup of Iowa versus Penn State. And Penn State had the early lead in this one, but Iowa came back and got it done. They played some good defense later in the game. Their offense did just enough. 23-20, low-scoring win for Iowa. Clifford, 15 of 25 for 146 and 2 interceptions. For Iowa, Petrus was 17 of 31 for 195, 2 touchdowns and an interception. So yeah, Iowa gets it done there. I believe they're ranked second. Will they be able to stay there? Who knows? I don't think they have too difficult of a schedule. It looks like they've got Purdue, Wisconsin, Northwestern, Minnesota, Illinois, and Nebraska. So perhaps a few teams wanting to pull off the upset, but no really good teams. But there are quite a few other good teams in the Big Ten right now. Ohio State, Penn State, yeah, they might have lost, but they're still pretty good. And then you have Michigan, who's sneaking up. So, yeah, the Big Ten, it's a very open race right now, and anybody could get that, depending on how they play. It's just crazy how many teams are still in it, and we're about halfway done with the season. We have a good 8 teams maybe still in the race, maybe even more. So, yeah, very interesting this year. We'll see how things play out. And then we had the Red River Showdown, the Red River rivalry. And Oklahoma won this one in a classic shootout game. Texas got up to the early lead, but Oklahoma came back. Rattler was benched, and then Williams, the freshman, went 16 of 25 for 212 and 2 touchdowns, and Oklahoma was able to come back and beat Texas 55-48. So yeah, Rattler, not the season that he expected, getting benched and then outperformed by a freshman. That is definitely interesting. And then for Texas, their quarterback, Casey Thompson, he's been looking pretty good when he played. 20 of 34 for 388 and 5 touchdowns. So yeah, Oklahoma and Texas each really are the best 2 teams in the Big 12, I believe, even though they might not be like the best 2 ranked. I think Texas is better than all the other teams. Besides Oklahoma. So yeah, Oklahoma gets it done, but not with Rattler, so that was an interesting one. And then Oklahoma blew out Maryland 66-17. Not Oklahoma, Ohio State blew out Maryland 66-17. And so yeah, Stroud has been playing really good. He was 24 of 33 for 406 and 5 touchdowns. So, yeah, Ohio State, we forgot about them, but they are really good. Watch out for them in the playoffs. They could get there. They have 1 loss. We will see how they do in the remainder. But, yeah, for now, they have 1 loss to Oregon, and they are not looking too bad. And then next up, we had another team in the Big Ten, perhaps looking for that chance in the Big Ten. Michigan, they got it done in a close game versus Nebraska, 32-29. Now Michigan, they're undefeated. They had the close one here, but they really haven't played anyone, just okay teams. In a few weeks, they have Michigan State on the schedule, and then they have Penn State, and then they have Ohio State. So I think Michigan will collapse coming in. But they are undefeated for now. They'll probably end up with 3 losses, something like that. And then next up, Boise State pulled off the upset against number 10 BYU 26-17. Bachmeier was 18 of 29 for 172. For BYU, Hall was 22 of 37 for 302, a touchdown and an interception. So BYU was looking good, but Boise State was able to stop them from escalating up the playoff rankings. So then next up we had Michigan State. They were able to blow Rutgers out 31-13, an easy win for them there. So yeah, Michigan State has also been looking good this year. They are undefeated, so they're another team you can add to the Big Ten race. Thorne was 16 of 27 for 340, 3 touchdowns and an interception, and Walker, the running back, 29 carries for 232 and a touchdown, so a good game for Walker. And yeah, Michigan State getting it done. They are still undefeated as of now. And then Ole Miss and Arkansas in a high-scoring game. So yeah, Ole Miss wins this one 52-51. They held on. Jefferson for Arkansas, 25 of 35 for 326, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Corral, 14 of 21 for 287, 2 touchdowns. So yeah, Ole Miss gets it done in this high-scoring game. They prevent Arkansas from getting the 2-point conversion, and they hang on versus Arkansas 52-51 in that one. And then Notre Dame also hung on versus Virginia Tech 32-29. So yeah, another close win for Notre Dame. They've not been looking the best. They experimented with some different quarterbacks. So yeah, I don't know. It really hasn't been the best season for Notre Dame, but they are 5-1. They're not looking too bad. They win that one 32-29. And then Kentucky won against LSU, and they blew them out. I expected this one to be a bit closer. So 42-21 in this one. A big win for Kentucky, who is escalating up the rankings after their win versus Florida. Now they get another win versus LSU. Levis for Kentucky, 14 of 17 for 145 and 3 touchdowns. LSU, it's not looked very good this season. Kentucky has looked pretty good. So yeah, a big win there for Kentucky, who is still undefeated, I believe. So that is another team. They're going against Georgia next week, so their race will probably stop, but they were undefeated for now. And then Vanderbilt, it went against Florida, and they got blown out. Florida didn't score too many points, but they were able to shut Vanderbilt out, despite Vanderbilt having some great opportunities to score. Emory Jones played pretty well. He was 14 of 22 for 273, 4 touchdowns and an interception. So it is clear that Emory Jones is the better quarterback now for Florida. So yeah, the Gators, it's kind of a lost cause after that loss to Kentucky, but they still played well for Vanderbilt. And that one, Vanderbilt, they've struggled before, but they are having a really bad season now. They've got a new coach. Maybe they'll recover, but I don't know if Vanderbilt's going to get kicked out of the SEC or what, because the divide between them and literally every other SEC team is very great. So my record this week was pretty good, 12-2. So yeah, that Alabama game cost me a game, of course, I'm sure. It cost a lot of people a game there. And then the other game I lost was that Boise State upset game. So yeah, on the visual I have both Boise State, so that's BYU, just saying. So then my record this season, it's 75-20, pretty good so far. We'll see if I can hang on for the rest of the season. We are about halfway through here. It's my Week 7 preview. Clemson is going against Syracuse. Clemson has not been playing well. I think they get together here. Syracuse isn't a very good team. I think this will be a bit more comfortable of a win for Clemson, 30-13. And then Oregon is going against Cal. I think they get this one done. Should be a pretty easy game for Oregon. 36-17 is my pick. UCF has been good before. They haven't been good this season. Cincinnati had kind of switched places with them. I think Cincinnati gets it done 31-14. Maybe a bit higher scoring, but Cincinnati's defense is pretty good, so that's why I have UCF with only 14 points. And then we had Michigan State going against Indiana. Michigan State is still undefeated. They are ranked 10th in the country. I think they got done versus Indiana. Not going to be a huge win. Maybe it could be a blowout win. But I've got Michigan State 27-16 versus Indiana. And then Texas is going against Oklahoma State. And yeah, I have Texas in a close one there. Oklahoma State ranked much better. But I think Texas is the better team. I've got Texas 37-31 in that one. And then Arkansas going against Auburn. Yeah, I've got Arkansas in this one. They've just had the better season. It hasn't been a very good season for Auburn. So I've got Arkansas 27-24. And then Florida going to LSU. Florida has had immense struggles when playing at LSU over the past few years. They've lost many games versus LSU. I've still got Florida in this one. This could very well be another upset, but I think just because they lost that Kentucky game already, they really have to play well to have some kind of a chance for, I don't know what they're trying to go towards, but I do have Florida there 27-24 over LSU, a close game, probably not going to be too many points scored by either team. So yeah, I've got Florida in that one. And then Texas A&M, they won versus Alabama. How will they play versus Missouri? It probably will not be a blowout. I've got Texas A&M in a relatively close game, 34-24. And then Georgia, number one team in the country now. That it's quite impressive. Kentucky, they've been playing well, but they haven't played. I mean, they beat Florida, but yeah, I think a loss finally comes for Kentucky here, 31-7. I think this Kentucky won't allow a ton of points to Georgia, but yeah, I don't think Kentucky will be able to score much of anything versus Georgia's defense. So I've got Georgia 31-7 there. And then Iowa going against Purdue. I don't think they'll have too much trouble. 34-14, that's my pick in that one. Iowa, it's looking good. If they can hold on for the next few games, they will likely make it to the playoff. We will see how the other teams in the Big Ten do, though. And then BYU going against Baylor. BYU, they just lost to Boise State. So I've got Baylor in this one, knocking off number 19, BYU 30-28. And then Alabama, they lost last week. I think they handled Mississippi State in this one, 41-14. Alabama is now outside the top four. They're ranked number 5. And Oklahoma, it's going against TCU. It's remarkable how Oklahoma is still undefeated. They've had a lot of sketchy games. I think they've only blew out one team, and that was Western Carolina. So yeah, I do have Oklahoma. This one's probably going to be another close one versus TCU. I've got Oklahoma 35-27 there. And then Ole Miss, it's going against Tennessee. Ole Miss, it's been looking pretty good. They had the one loss to Alabama, but other than that, they've been going pretty good. Tennessee, it's actually played pretty well, though, so this is not going to be easy for Ole Miss, but I still have the Rebels in this one, 40-34 over Tennessee. And then NC State versus Boston College, 2 ACC teams. They're pretty equally matched. I believe these are some of the better teams in the ACC. The ACC is just not good this year. They are not, they're just Clemson and all that stuff. It's really fallen through. But I do have NC State in that one in a close one versus Boston College, 35-31. And then Arizona State going against Utah. So Arizona State, they've been up and down this season. They are ranked 18th right now. I think they'll be able to win a close one for Utah 30-27. So that is going to do it for my Week 7 preview. Please make sure to subscribe and like. And this is the Sports Spiral. Bye.